the executives who are handling this event today, thank you for inviting me, and the board, the chairman who is not here, or she's not here today. I like to make one declaration. I am not the president of Kenya. Neither am I the deputy president. Neither am I one of the ministers, you call them CSs. And therefore, those who may have come this morning to listen to those people, I think I will not be disappointed when they take off and go and have their tea. Simply because people have passion, people have vision, and they know what they want to see, to hear, and that's why maybe they came here. But when I was called and told you must come and stand by, His Excellency is not able to make it, I looked around myself, I looked at the mirror, and I saw very little look-alike. I looked at a photo in my office when we were together burning the ivory the other day, and the only thing that was familiar was both of us were wearing some three-quarter long jackets, which were quite expensive because it was raining. So anyway, guys, I think it's important that we speak to each other. So I avoided to write a speech, to come and read to you a speech. Speeches, anybody can write a speech, anybody can read a speech. But when you meet colleagues and you are in that same business with them, you really don't have to write something from textbooks and come and read it to them. I personally believe talking to people from my heart of what I'm doing and who I am, and maybe allowing some questions so that people can clarify or can find to know something that they have been dying to ask me, as long as you don't have to ask me what I ate this morning, because the first meal I had was in here when I was given some gouache. I'm happy to talk with you. And personally, I think this organization should have more support from many more of us in business, because it is an institution that brings all businesses together to speak with each other, to learn what are the challenges, how can we move forward, how can we help each other. And I do urge all of you, those with some good ideas, let others like my friend Kim Ketich in Uchumi and Mr. Mbuvi in Kenya Airways get some ideas, some consolation, because when you look at those two institutions, you see typical suffering of lack of direction, lack of vision, and really they are focused on how to get more money, and then in 2 years spend it and then go back to the market and ask for more money. They don't tell people how they'll do something in a different way. We know Kenya Airways when it was the greatest airline in Africa, but it seemed to have gone to sleep, and other airlines, among them some local ones, Ethiopian Airline, Arabs Airlines from the Middle East, came over, and all of a sudden they didn't realize what hit them. I personally think they lacked the foresight to look ahead and to understand the changing dynamics of that industry and try to change with time. They kind of operated in the normal way, The only thing that stands still is a building. The Citibank have a nice building up the hill there, and that building will always stand there. But the way they do their things inside that building must change with time. Their focus in their customer base, their focus in their product base must change with time. If this change doesn't come, you find yourself dying a slow death. And therefore, I think everybody who is here is keen not to die. And you are here because you want to learn. If there is something new, you can get to support your business in your planning, in your vision, and in your direction. Where are you going? I saw the other day in the Business Daily where they said the misuse of medical services has made insurance companies make less and less money. And why is that so? Simply because many people don't have insurance. You have sisters, brothers, and you like to support your sister and your brother. So what do you do when you get that photo card? You give it to your sister. She looks like you. And two, nobody made the hospital your watchman. The hospital wants somewhere to charge. And they treat that person with greatness. And they continue to wonder why they make losses. As Martin Oduro here knows, I have my business, which is known as Smart Application, which has saved companies millions of shillings, simply because the HR, the managing directors of those companies decided they have to face the challenge of misuse of the facilities they have for their people. But you still find many companies who are not looking how they can tackle that challenge. I think most of you here, when I look at you, I think most of you have my card. You don't see me on that card, but somewhere on the bottom of that card, there is a tiny little logo written SMART. I think we all get these challenges. We all go to hospitals. We all are identified as who we are. Our Smart Application operates in Kenya. Martin Oduro, when he was running banks, support I got from him is incredible. All the banks use my system, Barclays, Standard, all of them. KCB, National Bank, Consolidated Bank. I don't know about Citibank. And literally, we saved them millions of shillings. When we did this conversion with Kenya Power and Lighting, in first year, out of 430 million shillings, we saved them 100 million shillings. And they used to be very strict. They used to have a book. You can't go to hospital without signing a book they had in the office. But they did not stop the misuse they had. When we did judiciary, we discovered they had 10,000 ghost workers who are earning salaries, who had medical schemes and everything else. But they melted, they disappeared. So, why am I using this as a typical example of what we are talking about? It is embracing technology. It's embracing new ways of doing things. And in your companies, the challenges you have in growing your bottom line, you need to be looking all the time and saying, what can I do to improve, to reduce my costs? You don't go to your customers to pay for your inefficiency, because if you do that, an efficient competitor will take over your clients. And this is happening today with Kenya Airways. If you take Kenya Airways to Mombasa, it's about 30,000 shillings or something like that. But you go to these other airlines, it's 10,000 or less. So, how many people will patronize the alternative? But for Kenya Airways, they are stuck in big debts, so they must extract the maximum from whoever goes to them, so that they try to cover their mishap. But in that process, they lose the people. Now, me, I'm ambassador for youth. Right now here, we are being followed by over 5,000, maybe they have reached over 6,000 youth, following what I'm saying here. I believe in the youth of this nation. If you are not with the young people in this nation, you must know you are a dying industry. You can cheat yourself that you are smart and you got business. If the youth of this nation do not embrace your relevance of what you are doing, you are on your way to your funeral. And I know nobody likes to hear that. So, can you embrace change? Can you be a friend of your consumers? Can you listen to the consumers? Can you admire those who have invented better ways to do what you do in the old ways? Kenya is the leader in this local situation of ours. They are the leader in manufacturing compared to anybody else in the region. But that manufacturing must improve, must change, must embrace new ways of doing things, because the demand you people have is completely changing. I have a company called Hako Industries. And in Hako Industries, I focus on children and the ladies or women, because they are the best customers who spend their money when they find the right product. So from head to toe, I look at their needs. And I produce products to suit their needs. I change the fragrances of products based on what is the in thing. The only thing I have not been able to do is to convince enough of them to stop wearing the dead people's hair. Because you are an African and your head looks Chinese, it's very difficult even for your husband to remember who you are. I think we need to be proud of who we are. Our hair is Caucasian, is not flowing like the hair of the people in the other parts of the world, because God was very smart. He gave our people hair to suit their climate, and you do not disapprove what God created. I mean, really, one of the brains of what Centum is all about. Centum is a company everybody talks about. The young people, when I talk to young people, they all tell me, I want to work for Centum. Recently, when I think we are the first people to give 120 people who work for us in that company. We gave them $1 billion shillings bonus. $1 billion. And people asked why. We gave it to them because they deserved it. They had made us enough money to allocate what was theirs. And therefore, if you make money, please remember your most important asset in a business. The biggest asset you have in a company is the people. You want to retain experienced people. You don't want to be a training ground. Because if you are not rewarding your people, if you are not motivating your people, they will learn everything they have to learn, and they will move on to a company that they think will meet their aspirations. So here, what I'd like to leave with you is that the people who work for you are the biggest asset. It's not the equipments, not the machineries that you have in the factory. Those you can always buy new ones, but you cannot get the loyalty, the experience, the commitment you get when you take care of the people who work for you. So if you are an MD here and you see your people as your slaves, as people who work for you because you pay them, just think twice. Realize, without those people being committed and being free to express and to bring new ideas into the business, you are being a managing director of the business is very short-lived. Business, unlike politics, has a measure, has a balance sheet, has a profit and loss account. In politics, we just shout, and we shout again. And the one who shouts more, or the one who demonstrates more, is seen to be doing a big business. When you use people as fodder to meet your own personal needs in order to have you glorified, to me, is a very sad affair. We need to respect human beings. I believe in Africa myself. I believe we are not the rising star, we are the star. People keep on saying Africa is a rising star. We are the star. The opportunities are here. It's a question of opening your eyes and realizing time has changed. It is time for Africa. I travel around the world. I travel to Europe. European companies, if you invest in them, if you get 5% return, you can go and glorify the world. Here, people get 20, 30% return. Opportunities are many, and we need to work and believe in ourselves. We are a fresh, good region that God gave us, and we better protect it. And you protect it by making sure your industry is not destroying the environment. You must be sensitive to what you take out of your factory, how you deal with waste, because we must protect what God gave us. I like to welcome this institution to use my media in order to promote the awareness of this institution. I'll give you that I will not charge you. Because in doing that, I'm doing it for myself also. We need to upgrade the standards of companies operating in this region. We need to be the best. And being the best is to be together. And I think there are many people who don't know this thing is happening, who should be here, because if they were here, many of them would drink these bottles I'm seeing on the table of water. That is my water. And I'm happy to see it here. Recently, we bought Kirenget because Kirenget was annoying me. In many places I went, I found Kirenget. And I said, how do I kill Kirenget? I bought it. So you can drink Dasani, you can drink Kirenget. We own both waters. Thank you very much.
The question I want to ask you is, if you look at the role of leadership and CEOs, and you look at our Kenyan and African companies vis-a-vis global companies and global CEOs, do you see any trend that would perhaps lead you to think that Kenyan CEOs are less successful than global CEOs?
Thank you, Martin. I personally think the only way you can compare, of course, in the Western world, there are some smaller institutions, but there are also the global institutions. The global institutions have many challenges because they have to adapt, they have to create businesses that will fit in different countries, different models. So what they do also is to come up with very clear policies, very clear principles that must be followed globally. Otherwise, the companies will disappear from one continent to the other. In the African continent, I think the only thing we don't do very much, we don't embrace a lot of training. Our own CEOs feel when they have reached the top job, that is the end. The ambition to do better, the ambition to focus and to compare themselves with the best in the world is missing. They compare themselves with the real players around them, and therefore their targets are always just they're very local. So I think we need to be local but global in our thinking. That is the challenge I'll take, that if you want to get on and to become a global player, you must keep yourself informed in what is happening globally. We have seen recently our media houses here engage government in protracted fight why they should go digital, simply because they were analog and they grew up as analog, they went to court, they went everywhere, but they forgot that bigger opportunities were in going digital. And eventually when they went to digital, they are today the most vibrant institutions. And that is just our media. The other thing, we don't realize that the newspaper, as you know them, you buy them in the next door neighborhood as you go to work. You could have read them the night before in your bed. So, what is the future of the newspaper? It's time. Where do you put more money? Into digital new ways. So, I would urge all of us to become more innovative, to partner with the rest of the world so that our businesses have a future. And they are local but international in the way they operate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris.